Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chapter 12 of Completely Clementine. All right. Why don't you just sit back, take a deep breath, let it out, relax, and get ready for Chapter 12, the conclusion of Completely Clementine. How do you think it's going to end? Do you think Clementine's going to be happy at the end? Give me a thumbs up if you do. Think she's going to make up with her dad? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, Chapter 12. At my building, I said, "Goodbye, thank you," to Margaret's dad as fast as I could when I ran down to my apartment. When I opened the door, something felt different, but I couldn't tell what it was at first. My kitten was asleep on the windowsill. My dad was conked out on the couch, and my mom was curled up against him. And my mom put a shh finger to her lips, and she looked down and smiled. On her lap was a loaf of bread, tightly wrapped. I looked again. That loaf of bread had a little squished up face. "Oh," I whispered very carefully, and I climbed up on the couch beside my mom. "Say hello to your sister," she said. I said hello and bent closer to get a better look. And let me tell you, there was not much to see. The good news was, at least my sister wasn't half rat. She had 10 tiny fingers, and at the tips were 10 even tinier fingernails. Not claws. No fur, no whiskers, and no sign of a tail coming out of that blanket. But I have to say, the bad news about my new sister was pretty bad. Her face was red and lumpy. 2 lumps sticking out on the sides were probably her ears, and I hope the one in the middle was her nose. Can you guys touch your nose? Touch your nose, and now touch your ears. All right, hopefully that was the baby's nose and ears, right? She was mostly bald, too, with just a few little tufts of hair that looked like cotton candy. If you let the air out of a teeny tiny wrinkled up old man balloon, you'd have a good idea of what my new sister looked like. Not so hot. Here's a picture of that. Before I could tell my mother how sorry I was that her second daughter was so homely, Aunt Claire and Uncle Frank came in with my brother. Spinach took one look at the baby, and he ran into his room howling. My dad woke up then and went after him. My aunt and uncle pulled up their chairs in front of the couch. My mom unwrapped the baby so they could see her. I patted my mom's shoulder, because it must be pretty sad to have to show this baby girl after having one like me. "Oh, my goodness," Aunt Claire exclaimed. "She looks just like Clementine did." "Exactly the same," Uncle Frank agreed. "Same hair, same nose." "Same nose?" "Oh, same everything. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful." I looked at my sister again, and a miracle must have happened, because now Uncle Frank was right. She was absolutely beautiful. "What's her name?" my aunt asked. My mom shook her head. "She came a little early. Caught us by surprise. We'd better pick a name soon." The baby woke up then and decided she was hungry. My mom started to feed her, and Uncle Frank and Aunt Claire put a casserole in the refrigerator and left. My dad came out with garbanzo bean, it's a mouthful, and plunked him down with his dinosaur book. Then he turned to me. "Clementine," he said, "we've had a call from the Pentagon. It's time for the final debriefing." The Pentagon is a secret project my dad and I have been working on since we found out about the new baby. It's a table, and it has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like as many fingers on your one hand. 5 sides. 1 for everybody in our new 5-person family. And my dad and I built it together. Every single board and nail of it. The final debriefing was a code we decided to use when it was time for us to show the present to my mom. My mom just gave us the puzzled look she always gives us when we talk about the Pentagon. Then she went back to feeding the baby. My dad closed the kitchen door, and being absolutely silent, we carried our old four-sided kitchen table out into the hall. And then I followed him into the workshop. We tied a big purple bow around the new table, and very quietly we carried it into the kitchen, and we set the chairs around it. 5 chairs. "You stay here," my dad whispered. "I'll go get the troops." When my mother came into the kitchen, her mouth fell into a giant O. Oh. Can anybody make an O out there? Oh, just a big O with your mouth. Open it wide. Oh. It was a good thing my dad had taken the baby, because she would have dropped her for sure. She was so surprised. My father pulled out a chair and helped my mother sit down. Then he put our baby into her lap, and he and I took turns explaining the whole story of how we made the pentagon. My brother fell asleep at the table from being so bored about hearing about our carpentry stuff, but my mom just kept getting more and more excited. 5 sides? One for everybody? Made it yourselves? Such beautiful wood. You kept it a secret? Usually, when my mother can't finish her sentences like this, it's because she's too mad. But this time, it was the "I must be dreaming" face she had. She held our baby close. "What a family we are! What a family!" Then she leaned over and told me to hold out my arms. I did, and then into them she placed our little baby. "Brand new," Mom said. "Just born at 12:01 this morning." My sister was warm and smelled sweet like sugar and grass. Her head nestled like a grapefruit right in the crook of my elbow, between Sirius and Vega. It looked as if the freckle stars were protecting her, but they didn't need to, because I was strong and careful. I was never going to let anything happen to her. I looked around at everyone then. My not-so-little brother conked out in a puddle of drool on our new table. My mother looking at me proudly, because she knew I wouldn't drop our baby. And my father, who ate Mrs. Jacoby's meatloaf, but who also built this table with me. Then I looked down at my sister, born on the summer solstice, who was just a few hours old. She didn't even know yet what a great family she'd gotten born into, or who she was going to be in the world. But she was peeking from her blanket as if she was ready to get started on finding out. And 2 things happened at the same time. 2 things. I figured out the perfect name for my sister, number 1, and I knew who I wanted to say it to first. "Mom," I said, "would you please tell Dad that I have something to whisper in his ear?" My mother smiled at my father. My father smiled at my mother. Then they both grinned at me as though I was the winning ticket in the kid lottery. My dad came over and gave me a kiss on the top of my head, and then he crouched down beside me. I whispered our baby's name in his ear. "Perfect," he said. "That is absolutely perfect." He told the name to my mom, and she said, "Perfect," too. And then I told it to my sister. "The sign in the lobby is for you," I said. "Today really is your first day. Welcome, Summer." Oh, what a cute name, Summer. Summer's right around the corner, right? School's probably out wherever you are, and summer's going to be here in a few weeks. Feels like summer's here now. And then the last page is a letter to her teacher. "Dear Mr. DeMatz, goodbye. I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye before. But before, I didn't know that speaking to someone would mean not speaking to them, not speaking to him. So you were right. I really learned a lot in 3rd grade. I'm not sure I'm going to do great in 4th grade, but I guess I'm ready to try. Your favorite student, Clementine." And she scratched out "your best and hardest." And she just said, "Your favorite student, Clementine. P.S. Yet." And she is astounding. Oh, well, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed Completely Clementine. It's one of my favorites. So I want you to go have a great summer and a great rest of your week. Sorry, tongue-tied. And I enjoyed reading that to you. And come back to my channel and listen for some more Clementine stories. Okay, have a great day.